Our next presentation is titled Searching for Post-Western Possibilities in Art. Chairing this session is Dr. Chiming Wang, Research Fellow and Deputy Director at the Institute of European and American Studies at Academia Sinica. Our speaker is Professor Masaki Fujihata, renowned media artist and emeritus professor at Tokyo University of the Arts in Japan. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Wang and Professor Fujihata to the stage.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the auditorium. I hope you all had a really nice lunch and a wonderful morning of intellectual feast. It's great, thanks to Professor Sebastian Liao for completing 6 years of wonderful achievement, curating all these events, including this very one, which really inspired a lot of the conversation and some form of cultural and political activism around the island. So much gratitude to his endeavor. And also, I think very importantly is the conversation that he is initiating us to engage today in terms of the post-Western question. I have a little bit of reservation about that formulation, but I'll save it for later because we have a really wonderful speaker today who will be engaging with this question from the field and practice of art. So let me quickly introduce Professor Fujihata Masaki, who will be giving us a talk on searching for post-Western possibilities. As you are probably all very aware, that Professor Masaki is not only a teacher in the university, but actually an artist with very deep and long-term engagement in new media art, particularly. Beginning his career working in video and digital imaging since the early 1980s. As an early practitioner of the application of new technologies to the process of art making, he was also one of the first artists to use stereolithography, a technique in which a laser polymizer liquid resin as it sweeps its surface. I'm reading something that I don't really know much about, but I think it's a practice that he has been engaged in. And other than that, he is also, I think he's most known for his work in the interactive art, particularly the Beyond Pages, which was an installation of a book format that people can engage with that book, with different kind of digital input and output that can be performed, by interacting with that medium, along with the Global Interior Project. And after that, he also has done experiments with the GPS technology, which is really interesting. Including fieldwork at Alsace, and his field of artistic creation expanded into the social and historical context with the AR public art projects, including Be Here, Hong Kong, 2018, and Be Here, 1942, 2022 in LA. So with all that, simply is a quick introduction to the many work that he has done, but I think it sort of gives us a glimpse of what his kind of engagement in the question of the social and political work may look alike. And I think particularly in this time and moment, in thinking about the question of the post-Western, I think Professor Fujihata would have something really original through the demonstration of the exhibition, I hope, to share with us. So without further ado, let's give him a really warm round of applause to welcome Professor Fujihata to speak.
First of all, thank you for inviting me, Sebastian. And you quit because this is an unusual situation for me. Usually I do, when I do a presentation, just to talk about what I'm doing, list of my works and so on. But this time I was very much attracted with the title, Post-Western Now. So it's a kind of a chance to think about my standing point because I'm not a European. I just born as a Japanese, but I don't know much about East Asian culture and thoughts. So in these years, I just started to think about where I'm standing on. I'm in the platform. So then I try to show my point of view through my practice. In the year 1853, the black ship came in Japan coast, and this impact is so huge, and then our history changed suddenly. And actually, when I show these slides to Yukui, he said Westernization equal modernization, but in my way of understanding, our modernization is a kind of copy of Western modernization. And then we didn't develop our own modernity. Still, we've been just mixed up our history, our tradition, and Western culture. So that's the kind of point. Maybe I could not tell clearly, but that's the kind of impression. But anyhow, this is a kind of ukiyo-e, wood block printing made by Japanese artist about black ship. But this is the another example. Left is the wood block printing made by Japanese artists, and right is a photography. So right is a technology, that left is a techniques, but very subjective way to analyze who is Mr. Perry. And Perry brought several painters. He documented what happened around this tour. So this is a guy who is make a drawing. And the other drawing include camera. Here is the engineer, photographer. He's trying to organize the objects here and make a photo to document Asian people. And this is more interesting because this is famous Hokusai's wood block printing about Mount Fuji from the Sagami Bay. Actually, this right one was also made by him, and almost same location he was there, and he made a drawing about Mount Fuji. But this, steepness is the correct word, is already deformed, about twice or three times higher in this Hokusai's painting, but this picture also deformed. So even he is in a westernized culture, try to make it same as possible, but in this case he was impressed a lot about the height of Mount Fuji. Then he made a wrong angle. So this is interesting. So it's a human. And then this is oil painting about the black ships, Gospel of God. And then this is the one of the part I showed at the beginning. But the black ship is fully equipped with new technology, a wheel engine and cannon and so on. But this wood block painter, wood block artist, make the ship as a living organ. So, and also they said the black ship as a monster. This is not the correct objective view of the ship, but this is a kind of abstraction suit with the impression of the ship. I think this is important attitude against the object, to understand the object by make a drawing. And these are the details. Look, these faces are so interesting because I think they believe they saw that object like this. And then this type of objective way to capture, photographic way to capture the object begin in 14th century. But this is the Giotto's paintings. Before photographic image came in, you can see there is no shadow. And just the shading exists, but there is no shadow. This is more clear. This is also made by Giotto, but there is no shadow. But this is a 16th century Northern Renaissance painter Hans Holbein made a portrait of a young merchant. But this was well known. He used very special equipment, so-called camera lucida, to make a certain perspective and matched shading by using that system. This is the camera lucida. Of course, all of you already know camera obscura is a camera using lens and boxes. But camera obscura is not possible to make a painting because the image is on the wall or somewhere. But we cannot see the paper itself because there is no light except the light from the lenses. But this tool, camera lucida, can use in a normal brightness room. So just using a small mirror, 45 degree, the one side we can see the reflection from the object, and also we can see what he is drawing. So then we can compete not only the shape of the object, but also the shading can be matched with the real object. So this is an incredible invention, but they say this was a hidden technique inside the painter. I read this topic through the 秘密の技術 Secret Technology. I think that's a title of the book written by David Hockney. Wrote that book, and he revealed this technique was invented in 15th century, and this technique was hidden because all the artists don't want to show this one for the public. They wanted to show this skill was made by himself. So this is a big problem. This problem continues until modern age. So this is the kind of video. Actually, this video was made a person. I forgot his name. Tim. Tim is the person who made this. He tried to mimic the same schematics in modern age because he also wanted to reveal this technique was invented in 15th century. But actually, he is a kind of a very famous developer for computer graphics. So he spent a lot of money. He spent a lot of energy to start a New Tech. The name of the company is New Tech. They developed software for Amiga in the 80s. One of the very first person who made CAD software for computer animation. But then after his success, he started to analyze what had happened with this technique. Then this is one interesting example. This picture was made by a student of Hans Memling, also Northern European Renaissance painter. And when you observe each faces, except this one, because this is he himself, but all other faces are identical. Yeah, just to change the size and composition and the angle. So all of these faces came from his wife. So this was 1509. It's a 16th century Photoshop. concept of Photoshop was invented according to the camera lucida. But also they used very precise perspective, schematics. According to perspective, he deliver and change the size of faces. So this is the fine art history. They try to hide the technology. The Renaissance was done by human, kind of. But that made me a very big problem. And in these years, I could understand what happened in real history. Another one, this is one of the famous artists in Japan. And so I said modernization and modern painting doesn't have no magic. Rationality, reasonability, smart, easy, cheap by using technology. But he against these sentences. He said art is magic. I don't know, the magic is not exactly right translation from jujutsu. Something more than magic, more, how do you say, natural power. Yeah. Then I briefly tell you about his biography, because he went to Paris in the year 2030 and spent 10 years there. While he was in Paris, he studied under Marcel Mauss, and also he joined 3 different group art activities. One is surrealism, another one is abstraction creation. And then at last he joined Acefal, which was organized by Georges Bataille. So his way of thinking was very much influenced with the friendship with Georges Bataille. And then later he was very much energized after he saw Jomon pottery. Jomon pottery was made in 5,000 or 4,000 years before. One of the important points why I'm talk about Taro Okamoto, because this is my understanding. Renaissance is important because to avoid the magic, more rational way to understand the world is their concept. But in Japan, we didn't have a chance to experience the time of Renaissance. Then, of course, he knew the history, art history. Then he tried to forget about Renaissance. And then, so most of the intellectual people studied art history. They tried to connect our history with the European art history. But he rejected this way of thinking. He tried to connect Jomon era and present directly. So he never think about, of course he knew, but he didn't care about these imported concepts. So then one of the important and huge success was done when he made a Tower of Sun at the Osaka Expo in the year 1970. The main theme for this expo was harmony and progress for mankind. Yeah, but Mr. Okamoto totally rejected this concept. He didn't follow. Again, he made his tower against this concept. So this is the photo when at the expo was there. And there is Matsuri Hiroba is a plaza for the festival. This is a very, very interesting space. Every day, every time, they are showing many different type of ceremony, festivals, invited from all over the world. Many strange, dancers and performers were there. and we could see what's going on abroad. Then he put this symbol in the middle of this place, plaza, and this figure, the title of this figure is Tower of the Sun. And actually, people can go inside this tower, and the inside of this tower was filled with the big tree. The title of this tree is a Tree of Life, starting from the basement until top. So the bottom is about the bacteria and some other, small organs. Then slowly these organs connected and bigger and bigger and bigger. And then almost nearly the end of this tree, we will see human. So it's very simple, but very, very strong. And also all the people know this is the inside of the Tower of Sun. So inside the Tower of Sun is filled with the evolution of our life until us. Very conceptual. And then even more interesting, because originally Expo Association decided to dismantle this tower, but 5 years later, suddenly, a signature campaign started against removal. This started from elementary school boy sent a letter to them. Then this signature campaign started. At last, they decided not to dismantle. Then, year 2018, they started open this tower, invite the public to go inside. So now you can see the inside now. But it's interesting because there are some rumor. Some of the worker who is working for dismantling another area said, if we dismantle this object, maybe we will have a tatari. How do you say tatari? If we dismantle this tower, maybe the tower will get angry. He will do some bad things against us.
It will be a curse.
So that means that the tower itself has a very strong power, like a magic. And people were not only attracted, but the people believe this should be stay here. So this is the history about this Tower of Sun. And another episode I would like to talk to you is one huge mural painting. The width is 30 meters, the height is 5.5 meters. And this was ordered from a hotel owner in Mexico. That must be the biggest hotel in Mexico, but then he worked for this. But in real, the company was bankrupt before the opening. Then his mural painting moved somewhere, no one knows. But in the year 2003, they found it in a storage. Then Mr. Okamoto's team tried to pick it back to Tokyo. Now we can see his painting here in Shibuya Station. If you will have a chance to go to Shibuya, so this painting was originally made for Mexico. And I would like to talk a little bit about the content, because the center figure is a skeleton, and this is the atomic bomb, he himself. But he is very innocent. So even he has a huge power. So Mr. Okamoto would like to say his way of speaking is always completely different concept into one, and the two are fighting each other. So we've been believing atomic bomb, nuclear weapon is also nuclear used for nuclear power plant. So always things has two sides. So in this case, he wished to put the nuclear power in the middle, but the nuclear power itself is very innocent, and it looks like all of these people, some were almost die or injured, but also there are some new baby were born. So all of these contrast between two. It's a bit difficult to understand, but he didn't want to make a painting just as miserable, like to show the nuclear bomb was evil. He wanted to show some another aspect within this painting. So this is one of the diagram I discussed with a younger generation. He really wanted to make a new tradition, which is not modernism nor Japanism. Then there are many artists that just copy Western modernism. Suddenly, one of the young artists start to use oil painting, and one side they study through oil painting. Through oil painting, they try to study the concept of European way of seeing the world. But for Okamoto, that's just a copy. That's not the original. But also, Japanism is another side, because we just celebrate wabi-sabi, Zen, Mu, Sukiya. All of these concepts were developed in 16th century around that timing, and still they saw it's valuable, but they just keep tradition, but they never develop new. So he really wanted to make a new tradition. Then he said, we have to make an extraordinary object. And then that is the actual root. That is the way to materialize ourselves. Then he focused on to Jomon pottery and our life and magic. Yeah, this is a kind of invention for me in a year. After I started to check, is there any interesting person who is conscious about to compete East and West? And he is a good example, because he spent 10 years in Paris. He studied a lot, and then back in Japan. And then he didn't go back to Europe, because when he, just before left Paris, many of his friends started to go to the war as a soldier to save their country. But Okamoto's, his own country is not France. Then he fly back to Japan in the year 1940. Then he went to the war as a soldier. Then he might think about how can he devote his life for Japanese country. It's a bit tearful. But anyhow, I think these are Tower of Sun and Myth of Tomorrow main attitude he found after these difficult days. So he's very, very strong. But in there, when you check the so-called Japanese art history, he is not included in the center position. Most of all Japanese contemporary art history were edited under the concept of European way of thinking, European concept. So he's really different. And he also said art should not for the professionals. Art should be for the public. Actually, Tower of Sun and Myth for Tomorrow both are public art. Normal public people can understand by their pure, impressions. So it's a bit difficult to talk about myself after Taro Okamoto because he is a big figure. But in my case, the age is different. I was born 1956, after 10 years after the World War II end, and already full of technology, because this is a photograph perhaps made by my mother, where I'm making a drawing using matchsticks. So matchsticks is a kind of technology controlling the fire. But also the content of the drawing is about electronic locomotion. It's not the steam engine. So, and also, the length of the matchstick is like this length, but he is trying to make these windows by bending the matchsticks. I think this is technique he invented, or perhaps my mother suggests to bend the matchstick for adjusting the size of the window. And also this edge was used for a platform, perhaps, the train station. So it's a very simple photography, but there are many things. I think this was when I was 3 years old. In these days, no one is using matchstick for fire. So this is the situation we are facing. All of these are already controlled by technology. I just show you some 2 or 3 videos. So this is the computer animation I made in 1983, because there was a chance to join a group of engineers and producers to start a new computer animation company. So I was involved as a graphic design and also directing the animations. But in this case, we focused on the topic of mandala, because mandala was a Buddhist tool to understand the universe, in short. But now the scientist is using computer. Please imagine it was 80s. Computer was used by the scientist. So the scientist is using computer, and now computer is making a mandala. Actually, we show this piece at the SIGGRAPH in the USA, and it's very successful because most of the video shown at that period is just showing the progress, technological progress. But our piece has some concept from Asia. Then they are very much surprised. Actually, the technique used here called ray tracing. So from the standing point, the ray is going to the object, which angle this ray will reflect and refract inside the ball and reflect to another side, then decide the color. So this was updated technology at the moment, but we use the same technology, but using this technology adapted for the mandala. So I think this was very good idea to combine these topics into one movie. That's why this was very successful. Okay, jump to 2003. It's about 20 years later. As he noted, I was a strong interest about the GPS because very beginning I was very surprised when I found a advertisement of a GPS device, because I believe it is not for consumer product. But now everyone is using GPS now. But at that period, imaginable. Actually, the accuracy for the GPS was very bad because of the America made this technology, but the high resolution was used just for military. So this resolution was not for public. But after the Gulf War, they opened this area. That's why we can have a very accurate position. So the beginning, when I started to use the GPS, it was very, very funny. While I'm staying, I'm not moving, but the data jumped to 50 meter and 100 meter down. This was the accuracy. Year, I forgot the year. Something. It was 90. It was 90. But anyhow, after that, I was impressed with this technology because the GPS will tell you where you are. So sometimes we don't know where I am, but the GPS can tell you where you are. So beyond my perception, he will give me a number. So that means, GPS can be used to identify. So now it's a program. GPS can identify where you are. Then usually you don't want to show where you are. It's a privacy upside down. But as an artist, this is so interesting because it's identity can be defined by technology, not by you. This is an interesting message. Then, this case, this was produced under some of the budget of ZKM is a Center for Art and Media Technology in Germany. They gave me a chance. Then I focused onto the border between Germany and France because it's a kind of beginning of European Union. So people are very happy to commute the borders. Then this picture is one of the shot really in the forest between Germany and France. I could hear the songs. Not only one person, many people sing together. So then we took off the car and I set my camera and GPS and go into the group, and then I recognized it's a gathering from both sides, French side and German side. Every Wednesday or once a week, they get together and sing a song together. It's so peaceful, amazingly beautiful moment. But anyhow, this is one of the sequence. And the other one, this was shot on the bridge between French side and German side. And I made a several silly questions, ask the reason why you crossing the border. Some of the ladies said, "Oh, we just get some toilet paper." Another one is just to get the ice cream. For getting ice cream, French side ice cream is better. And the gasoline is cheaper in Germany. So such kind of situation happening on the border. And this is I would like to show you how to make it. So this is the result, and I think some of this dot is the position where my camera, and also there is a angular sensor is embedded to check the compass, and also panning and so on. So here is the lady. She is standing in front of her car, and this is a real, actual snapshot my assistant took. And then here is the GPS unit, and I have a camera, and the camera has a small Windows machine. Yeah. So this is the GPS, and this is the camera, and this is a sensor, of angular sensor. And then this is the view at the exhibition. In this case, I used the cave system. There is 1, 2, 3, 4 projections, 4 stereoscopic projection. And the viewer, when she inside, she will see all of these movie is floating in the air, and this is moving towards viewer. The title is Fieldwork Alsace. So this is called the Memorial Park for the war. Then this gentleman slowly came to me and started to talk about his own story when he was a soldier. So then he showed his stomach was injured. This stone is showing the border.
Und diese Linie zeigt, dass so der Grenzfall immer bis Wasser läuft. Wie der Fluss. Und zwar immer die Wasserlinie zum Ufer ist die Grenze.
Yeah. In this case, we asked him, "Where are we?" by showing the map, but he really doesn't show where are we. It is so funny, but he lives in German side, and every day he came to this grape yard for maintain the grape. How do you say? For making wine. Then I asked him, the final product you made is Alsace French wine, but he said it's German wine. Even the grape was grown in the French side, but he said it's German. Because his family had been carrying this area a long time. He never think about the border. Yeah, it was very, very... Of course, I showed this type of project in the different locations. once I showed this one in maybe it was in the UK, a lady came to me and then she said, Masaki-san, do you know the term all the phenomena are impermanent? So what? I couldn't recognize the term, but slowly I understand Shogyo Mujo in Japanese, but I never think about the concept behind the kanji, 4 kanji word. I know the meaning more or less, but I didn't understand the real meaning behind. But after I got this sentence from that lady, I really understand, and I feel this is so interesting. And I don't know why she said to me, but anyhow, she pointed out there is some difference from another artworks which was made European or Western artist. Not only her, but also one of my friends, she is a professional curator, also told me, Masaki, this is something totally different. Until now, I cannot say clearly, but there is some comment from these people. Then I need to consider, I need to think about what is the difference. That is the starting point. My exploration didn't end. And then, yeah, this is a very important turning point for me. Then I would like to show this is the only one movie I would like to show you. After that project, I organized a group of the people to invite the specific
This is another project for making a collection of people's shouts.
Yeah, okay.
We designed special medium where people can join. And also we challenge to connect real space and digital space into a new format. Actually, we invite people to shout in the location at La Martinière, a public park along the river Loire in Nantes, in France. We set up a special circuit, path for the bicycle, and the bicycle equipped with video plus GPS camera. And then people, while riding on the bicycle, shout, and this image and sound were recorded. After we captured data, we put these into the computer and processed to organize 3D data in a cyberspace. While we deliver each path made by each participant as a layer, we can make a tower shape or let's say tunnel shape we can make. This is not exist in real space. We just see the data on the display, and of course we can share the image with other people. So this is not the conventional monument for keeping collective memory. A kind of physical monument or statue or building or bridge and so on. But this is rather symbolic image and also functioning like a place. Actually, it's a medium for generating memory. This is important. So this is the project to generate memory into a new form of monument. I've been saying this concept as a meta-monument with collective memory.
Yeah. It's so good. This is a very, very good project. Actually, this project was realized because of the president of the local art school accepted, because he invited me to do something there. Then I think I spent 1 or 2 years to finalize my proposal, and then I sent the proposal to him. Then he said, "Oh, Masaki, this is crazy project. Let's do it." This type of reaction is not happen in Japan. So usually it's very difficult when I talk with younger curators. Then after that he said, "Sorry, Masaki, the project was not accepted from the boss." Because they couldn't understand what I'm willing to do. So in this case, not only the technology, but also it's building up the place to gather, and also those activities are recorded and people can put it down again. So it's a digital age. So this is a challenge, and also it's really a small mock-up, but I think here is some interesting possibility. For the I don't want to say for the future, but I hope something to do near future. make our activity as our tradition.
Thank you very much, Fujihata Sensei, for such a magical and explosive presentation on the possibility of art. I know time is running now really fast. We only have about 5 minutes for the discussion.
My name is Amaregic. I'm postdoctoral researcher at NYCU. Thank you for this amazing lecture and talk, and this connectedness between Japan and West, because we noticed it in a case of prior artists and in your case. But what was sparkling to me is this artist Taro Okamoto, especially his second piece that you introduced to us. My first impression was when I was noticing the piece and analyzing it was how war and war experience actually shaped that his position and his gaze and his representation of the image. And other suggestion was like, something similar was made by Pablo Picasso in his Guernica. So I was trying to find the connect between those two. But my question is, do you think that the war experience actually shaped that piece? Thank you.
Yeah, I think I'm not Okamoto Taro, but by my research, that was very strongly accident for him. And then actually about Pablo Picasso, because Taro Okamoto, he himself saw the exact Guernica picture where he was in Paris. And he himself said he was influenced. That's a real story. But he tried to make it his own painting. Not a copy. Yeah, I don't know, but I'm sorry, I'm not a researcher about his life.
From the very little I read, he was actually in Okinawa for a little while. Yeah. He also served in China during the World War II. So apparently the sort of impact might have been felt. I don't know whether that's a direct influence or not, but that certainly was in the context.
My name is Man Ray Xu. I'm a curator in contemporary art. Your talk mentioned a few pieces about art as magic, or in Japan as like a spellbound art, or we can just like referring to religious studies in we can say that about like mantra art. And you had that piece of Mandala 1983. I just wonder how, for example, in all those pieces, how would these work interpreted? Would it be interpreted just totally in a kind of atheist context, which is more like what modern art is trying to do? And if we refer to this kind of post-West situation where art is viewed or interpreted in the more, we can say, like animist kind of work, as a kind of technical pieces, which has itself a kind of spiritual meaning to it, then this work that you mentioned in the talk, would that be also interpreted in that way? Animist.
I felt the differences about using technology. So there are many friends in America, they are using the same computer. So I was happy because we are sitting on the same platform. The platform means computer. So when a OS updated, all of us, me and my friends in the US is complain when we face the problem. So it's really good to use the same computer, keep our friendship. But way of using technology is somehow different. Some of the friends are purely technician, engineer, I should say, engineer. So they just make it easier and faster, write a paper, publish it, show the public about the new possibilities. But after computer graphics movement had gone, some of the skilled engineer changed the subject easily. So he is working on another project now. So I was very surprised because I was very much attracted with computer graphics to make an image without any object. Make images with the numbers was my fascination. But for him, it is just a technology to climb up. Then he throw it and then start to do the same thing on a different mountain. So I don't know, very rational attitude. But in my case, I don't know, this was caused by Japanese spirit or a spirit of artist. But I stick with the magic of technology to make it realize. Does this make sense?
It's in general how we interpret it. For example, Nanjing work. In contemporary art history, we have so many pieces, from particularly, from Eastern art, from Asia, for example, and those pieces refer to Buddhism or refer to local religions, and usually these symbols or signs, cannot be interpreted neutrally or atheist way. And this also now in the case of indigenous contemporary art, where we use this cosmology of indigenous people. So these artworks has different spiritual meaning relative to modern contemporary art. That's what I want to say. And would you agree with this kind of perspective?
Actually, this piece was received on that context.
Fujihata said, perhaps we'll have to take that conversation elsewhere since we're running out of time. But once again, I really want to thank you for this really inspiring and electrifying talk to really help us think about technology as a way of engaging with art and society. So once again, thank you very much. I will have an end to the session here. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much.